Okay, let's unpack this. We are diving headfirst into the Caribbean destination that for decades has been, synonymous with the very apex of sophisticated old world luxury, Barbados.
And not just Barbados, but specifically the Platinum Coast. This particular stretch of the West Coast is almost a self-contained ecosystem of wealth. It's the winter playground for celebrities, from Rihanna, who's a local icon, of course, to people like Simon Cowell. It just sets a very, very high bar for expectations and, maybe more importantly, for price.
And that's exactly where our deep dive begins. Right at that point of contradiction, you see the glossy brochures, right?
Yeah.
The ones promising these perfect golf courses, infinity pools, those $200 bottles of rosé, and it all looks so predictably polished.
It does, but Barbados, and this is the interesting part, manages to be both profoundly sophisticated, we're talking high tea at the Colony Club in the afternoon, and at the same time completely raw. Think a humid, sweaty, smoky fish fry at Oyston's late on a Friday night.
That tension is so key. It's key to understanding the island's appeal, but for our purposes, it's key to understanding its inefficient pricing. Because here's the core challenge we're trying to solve for you, the listener. A standard luxury hotel room in Barbados is, statistically speaking, likely to be grossly overpriced.
Yeah, when we benchmark it against similar five-star places across the rest of the high-end Caribbean, think Turks and Caicos, maybe the British Virgin Islands, the markup can easily hover around 40%.
40%. That's a 40% premium just for the postcode. That's a huge amount of money wasted on, just a nice room. So our mission today isn't just about luxury, it's about how to defeat that price inefficiency. We're trying to figure out how you can spend, say, $10,000 for a week and have a far better, more authentic experience than the person who spent $50,000 buying status at a big resort.
It's the classic mistake in high-end travel, isn't it? Assuming the highest price tag means the best experience. In Barbados, that equation is just actively misleading. The real value is found off campus, and it's rooted in, contrarian planning and some clever logistical hacks.
Which brings us to the 3 critical contrarian surprises you need to know before you even start looking at flights. These are the hacks that just flip the script.
Okay, hack number 1. It's a complete reevaluation of the geography. Most people, they just gravitate to the Platinum West Coast for the calm water. Our insight is this. The Atlantic side, the East Coast, is actually better if your main goal is avoiding crowds and finding that kind of dramatic, raw beauty.
The West Coast is where everyone is. It's beautiful, but it's busy. The East Coast is cinematic. But there's a huge caveat about the ocean itself there, which we have to get into. There's a real risk.
Oh, a major risk. Okay, hack number 2, renting a car. This is what we're calling a necessary nightmare. You absolutely must endure it to maximize your budget. Yes, driving on the left is a pain, the potholes, the signs. It feels like a chore. But without that freedom, you're trapped. You're just dependent on expensive taxis and tours, and your budget inflates immediately.
You can't get to the island soul without it. Okay, and hack number 3, which is, I think, the core of our whole value thesis. All-inclusive in Barbados is basically a scam for lazy planners.
100%. They exist, but they lock you into this low to mid-tier food loop when the island's true culinary highlight is outside the resort walls. It starves you of the best part of the island.
Right. And just before we dive in, one major unavoidable downside that will absolutely ruin the vibe if you don't plan for it, the traffic. It is genuinely brutal, especially around Bridgetown and Holetown at rush hour.
You have to time your trips. If you spend an hour in gridlock trying to get to the West Coast for sunset, that stress just kills the whole moment. It turns luxury into frustration. That traffic warning is crucial. Barbados is a dense, developed island.
Exactly. So this deep dive is going to cover all of it. The logistics, the safety checks, including a terrifying tree, the budget ranges, and finally, the verdict matrix, tailored for you whether you're a couple, a family, or a high-end solo traveler.
We're way beyond the postcard. Let's decode the Platinum Coast.
Yeah, so let's start with the money. Why is Barbados so much more expensive compared to, say, Aruba or even the Caymans? Let's get into the hard realities of the Bajan economy.
Okay, it really comes down to a deliberate policy of stability plus some very high logistical costs. The foundation of it all is the Barbados dollar. It's rigidly, permanently pegged 2-to-1 to the US dollar. This is great for the local economy, it prevents inflation, and it makes it super simple for you as a traveler.
But the flip side of that is that it completely eliminates any chance for arbitrage deals, right? You're not going to find those last-minute, deeply discounted rates you might find elsewhere.
Exactly. Every price is transparent. And that stability, unfortunately, comes at the cost of really significant import taxes.
Yeah.
Barbados is a small island. Almost everything that supports that high-end tourist life has to be imported. Fine wines, furniture for the villas, specialized foods, almost everything.
And those taxes are steep. We mentioned that bottle of Whispering Angel Rosé. If you buy that for, what, $25 at home, expect to pay triple that, $75, maybe $90 in a restaurant there.
And that's not just the restaurant gouging you. They're covering duties, transport, storage. This cost hits everything, from groceries to construction. It's why our street food hack, which we'll get to later, is so important for controlling costs. You're bypassing the import duty.
No, let's talk about the people who are driving up the demand. Historically, Barbados was the spot for old money, the British Airways crowd looking for quiet elegance.
But that has changed. The introduction of the welcome stamp visa, the digital nomad visa, has fundamentally shifted the clientele.
It brought in a younger, wealthier, and often more demanding crowd. They expect, perfect fiber optic internet and high-end amenities, which drives prices up even further, especially for good rental properties.
Right. Next, we have to just kill the seclusion myth. This is where so many first-timers go wrong. They picture a deserted beach on some sparsely populated island.
And Barbados is not that. It's very developed, it's highly functional, it's extremely safe, but it's not a desert island. Let's ground this in reality. The island is only 166 square miles, but it's home to nearly 300,000 people. That's one of the highest population densities in the Caribbean.
So that idea of finding a mile-long stretch of white sand all to yourself,
Yeah.
it's just not going to happen. Not unless you book a massive private villa on a cliff way up in St. Lucie. You're going to be interacting with people constantly.
And here's the wonderful paradox, that interaction is actually the island's unique selling point. The wall between the resort and the reality of Bajan life is incredibly thin. You will interact with the locals, the Bajans.
And they are universally warm, polite, and helpful. You'll be sharing the same buses, standing in line at the same rum shops.
Which requires a crucial reframing. The hype sells exclusivity. But the reality you're paying a premium for is community. You're paying for access to a real, functioning, welcoming society.
Okay, let's do a quick but crucial geography lesson because this determines everything. Where you stay, swim, what you do. Barbados has 4 very different coasts.
First, the West Coast, the Platinum Coast. This is where most of the big luxury resorts are. It faces the Caribbean Sea, so it's sheltered. The water is calm, perfect for swimming. It's the postcard.
Second, the South Coast. This part has a bit more action, more waves. It's where the Atlantic meets the Caribbean. It's popular with windsurfers and has more of the mid-range condo-style places. Great beaches, lively boardwalk.
Third, and this is the most misunderstood, is the East Coast, the Atlantic side. It's wild, rugged, dramatically beautiful, with these huge crashing waves, especially in a place like Bathsheba.
And here is the critical warning. The East Coast Ocean is dangerous. It is unswimmable. This isn't a suggestion, it's a life safety fact. The currents from the open Atlantic are incredibly powerful. If you book a gorgeous villa in Bathsheba thinking you can take a morning dip, you are putting yourself at serious risk of drowning. The beauty is for looking at, not for swimming in.
A lot of discerning travelers want that seclusion, which is why the East Coast is tempting. But if swimming is your priority, you have to plan on driving back to the West or South Coast every day.
And finally, the North Coast, mostly St. Lucie Parish. This is dramatic cliffs, powerful shore breaks. It's where you find true isolation. But you're a long drive from the main restaurants and calm beaches.
Okay, let's talk arrival. You've planned your trip, you've avoided the East Coast drowning trap, and you land at Grantley Adams International, BGI.
And the BGI experience is your instant entry into island time. You often walk across the tarmac, and the second that plane door opens, that heavy, humid, tropical heat just hits you. It's like a wave.
Then you get to the immigration hall. This is where the term Caribbean slow is really earned. It's not inefficient, exactly, just methodical, not Heathrow speed.
Which leads us to the mandatory luxury hack, the 5-star fast track. This VIP arrival service, it costs maybe $60 to $80 per person. It is not a gimmick. It is an absolute non-negotiable necessity if you're paying luxury prices for your trip.
Yeah, let's explain why it's so critical. Picture this. 3 big international flights all land within 45 minutes of each other, a Virgin flight, a BA flight, a JetBlue. That's hundreds of people dumped into a small, non-air-conditioned hall all at once.
If you skip the fast track, you'll be standing in that line, potentially for 2 hours or more. That is 2 hours of heat and stress that just poisons the start of your expensive vacation.
But with the fast track service, which you pre-book, someone meets you at the bottom of the air stairs. They whisk you past that huge line into a dedicated lane. It just erases all that stress.
The logic is just unassailable. If you're spending $10,000 on a trip, it's crazy not to spend $160 for two people to save 2 hours of pure misery.
So once you're through, you step outside. And welcome to what I like to call the taxi mafia. Affectionately, of course.
It's organized chaos, it's loud, it's high energy. The drivers are your real introduction to Bajan character. They're storytellers. Engaging with them is part of the experience.
And then the drive to the Platinum Coast. The infrastructure paradox is just immediate. It's striking.
On one hand, you're passing these incredible multi-million-dollar mansions. And right next door, you'll see a traditional chattel house, a small, colorful wooden dwelling.
The word chattel literally means movable property. Historically, they were built to be moved because the residents didn't own the land. Seeing them next to a huge estate says everything about the island.
You'll see a Porsche dealership, and then a minute later, a chicken will just wander across the road. And the roads themselves are textured. That's the polite Bajan word for full of potholes.
But the sensory impressions are amazing. Roll down the window, you smell the salt air or maybe burning sugarcane, and you hear the soundtrack of the island, which is soca music blasting from the ZR vans.
Ah, the ZR vans. They are the lifeblood of Bajan public transport. They are these white minibuses with a magenta stripe. The experience of riding one is loud, fast, and packed. It's essential to the island's energy.
Okay, let's talk service expectations as you're checking in. You have to mentally downshift your clock.
Bajan hospitality is incredibly friendly, genuinely warm, but it runs strictly on island time. If you expect that hyper-efficient instant service you get in New York or London, you will be deeply frustrated.
It's not bad service, it's just a different rhythm. A request will be handled, but probably not instantly. You have to embrace it.
The first evening payoff, though, it washes all that away. On the West Coast, the sunsets aren't just nice, they're theatrical. The sky just explodes in purple, orange, pink.
And here's the requirement for that first evening. Get your feet in the sand with a local bank's beer. That moment, when the light hits the water just right, that is the immediate justification for the cost. That's the payoff. All right, time to open the spreadsheet and confront the value trap head on. We know the hotels are inflated. Let's look at the actual numbers per night in US dollars.
The spread is huge, which tells you that value's there if you're smart, but the penalty for lazy booking is astronomical.
At the bottom, the budget range is maybe $80 to $120. This is a clean guest house on the South Coast, probably right on the main road, so it's functional but noisy.
The mid-range, which is really the sweet spot, is between $250 and $400. This gets you a decent condo with a shared pool or a room at a smaller boutique hotel. You get comfort and location without the resort price.
And then there's luxury. This starts at $1,200 a night for a basic room at a place like Sandy Lane, and it can easily shoot past $5,000 a night during peak season, from December to April.
So the harsh verdict. Are these luxury hotels worth it? For the room itself, absolutely not. You're paying a massive premium for the status, for the pink towels on the beach, and for the service ecosystem.
But I have to push back a little. For the traveler who wants zero friction, isn't that convenience worth something?
It's worth some premium, yes, but not a 40% premium. Not when you can get superior service for less money privately. The true hack for the luxury traveler is the private, staffed, luxury villa rental.
Okay, give us the hard numbers on the villa hack.
Let's say you rent a world-class villa on the Sandy Lane estate for $3,500 a night. You split that 3 ways between 3 couples. Your nightly cost is now just under $1,200 per couple.
So the same price as the starting room at the big resort, but what do you get?
You get a private 5,000 square foot house, a private pool, and critically, a dedicated staff. Usually a housekeeper, a laundress, and a full-time cook. That is baked into the rental price. That proposition just destroys the hotel value.
The convenience is actually higher in the villa once you're there. The cook prepares fresh, local meals, which means your food spend goes down even while you're eating better.
Exactly. It turns the hotel's profit margin into personalized service for you. That is superior value.
Okay, next, food costs. This is the area that blindsides everyone and can turn a $10,000 budget into $20,000 overnight.
It is pure sticker shock. Fine dining at the Cliff, Lone Star, the Pides. It's Manhattan pricing. Appetizers are $35, mains are $60 to $90, cocktails start at $25. Dinner for 2 with wine is easily $400 to $500.
Even mid-range spots like Champers on the South Coast will run you about $150 for 2 people. It adds up so fast.
And this is why the all-inclusive idea is a scam here. They have to make money serving 3 meals a day, so they use cheaper ingredients and limit premium brands. You end up eating repetitive, mid-tier food.
So you pay a premium to lock yourself out of the amazing dining that justifies the island's reputation. You lose value and flavor.
But here is the real hack: the street food. This is where the price-to-performance ratio goes through the roof. This is where you find the island's soul.
Like Cuss's fish stand. It's a literal shack on the beach, but they serve these fresh marlin cutters, a grilled fish sandwich on a salt bun. It's incredible. And it's $6.
Or Friday night at Oyston's. A huge plate of freshly grilled marlin or tuna with macaroni pie is maybe $15. The experience, the atmosphere, the quality, it's superior.
Which leads to the big insight. The fish at Oyston's, grilled over open flames, often tastes objectively better than the fish at the $500 dinner. At the fancy spots, you're paying for the tablecloth and the ocean view. You're paying for real estate.
Let's quickly hit transportation costs to reinforce the car rental hack. Taxis will bleed you dry. They're not metered, they use fixed zones. Going from the West Coast to the South Coast for a night out could be $40 to $60 one way.
A rental car, even with the challenges, is salvation. A standard sedan is about $60 a day. The trendy little moke Jeep is maybe $100 a day. It's exponentially cheaper than relying on taxis.
And if you're really adventurous, the local reggae bus, the ZR van, is $1.75 to go anywhere on the island.
Finally, activity costs. Peak luxury is a private catamaran charter. That's $1,500 to $2,500 for 5 hours. And if you're doing luxury, you have to go private. The crowded party boats are low value.
Mid-range, a group turtle swim tour is about $100 a person. You see the same turtles, just with 20 other people.
So the final value verdict is clear. Barbados is low value for hotels. It's high value for food if you eat local and use the villa hack. And it's medium value for activities. You're paying a premium for safety and ease. All right, we've established the price inefficiency. Let's move into the planning traps. These are the logistical trip savers that make the difference between a relaxing luxury trip and a miserable, frustrating one.
We've broken this down into the 3 big ones that consistently trip people up.
Trap. #1. The restaurant reservation roulette. And this isn't an exaggeration. During high season, you cannot just walk into the cliff or the tides. The demand is insane.
And getting a prime oceanfront table is part of the experience. If you get a bad table or you have to eat at 5 p.m., you've kind of lost the point.
So how do you beat that? The fix. You have to book your high-end dinners the moment you book your flights. We are talking 3 to 4 months out, minimum, for a prime 7:38 p.m. slot.
If you wait, you will be stuck eating at 5:0 p.m. when it's still bright daylight, or at 9:45 p.m. when you've missed the whole sunset vibe. Treat it as seriously as your flight booking.
Trap #2, the driving insurance nightmare. We know you need a rental car. But the real trap is the financial hold for the insurance, the CDW.
This is a deep dive into the fine print. The problem is that many U.S. credit cards, like a Chase Sapphire, offer great rental car insurance. But the rental agencies in Barbados can, and often do, reject that coverage. And if you decline their local insurance, they'll place a massive hold, $2,000, maybe $5,000 on your credit card.
Which just freezes your available credit. It's a huge headache.
So, the fix. First, call your credit card company and get a printed letter on official letterhead, specifically stating your coverage is valid in Barbados. Some cards exclude certain countries, you have to check.
And if they still give you trouble?
Just budget the extra $15 to $20 a day for their local insurance. Paying that small fee removes the entire headache and avoids the credit hold. It's worth it for the peace of mind.
And a quick tip. Use Waze for navigation. It's better than Google Maps for flagging potholes and police checks. Trap #3. The Sunday shutdown. This is a cultural thing people miss. Barbados is a deeply religious country, and Sunday is for church and family.
The consequence? Bridgetown, the capital, becomes a ghost town. All the major shops are closed. Commercial activity just grinds to a halt.
The fix. Plan your Sunday for the beach or book one of the famous Hotel Sunday lunches. They're these lavish buffets, and they're a cultural institution. And definitely buy your groceries on Saturday.
A quick logistics checklist. Wi-Fi is good in hotels, but unreliable elsewhere.
The fix. Get an eSIM before you go, or buy a local SIM card from Flow or Digicel at the airport. You need data for Waze. And a simple but critical piece of gear. Barbados uses UK power outlets. You need a Type G adapter, the one with the 3 big rectangular prongs. Your American plugs will not work without one. Bring several.
And one last health tip. Bring serious mosquito repellent with DTT.
Yep.
Dengue fever, while rare, does happen, and it will absolutely ruin a multi-thousand-dollar trip.
Let's discuss the safety profile of Barbados, which is, again, one of the key reasons for its premium price.
Yeah, the baseline safety vibe is that it feels remarkably safe. Violent crime against tourists is statistically very, very low. There isn't that same aggressive feeling you might find on other islands. It's a massive selling point.
But the main threat is opportunistic theft. The economic disparity is real, and easy targets are hard to resist.
The classic scenario.
Mhm.
You're at a public beach, you and your partner both go for a swim. Do not leave your phone and wallet on your towel. It will be gone when you get back. Take turns swimming or secure your stuff.
Okay, beyond theft, let's talk about two common low-level scams. Number one, the bumpos.
These are the persistent people on the beaches selling bracelets or aloe vera. They're not dangerous, but they are very persistent.
And the required response is a firm, direct, no thank you. Don't engage, don't make eye contact for too long. Any engagement is seen as an opening to a sale. Be polite, but clear.
The second one is the monkey man. These are guys with a small monkey, and they are very skilled at quickly putting the animal on your shoulder for a photo before you can even react.
The second the photo is taken, they demand a fee. Usually about $20. If you don't want the photo, you have to be firm and back away immediately.
Now, for a really serious safety tip about a local law. The camouflage rule. This is a strange one. It is strictly illegal for civilians to wear camouflage clothing in Barbados.
Yeah, only the Barbados Defense Force is allowed to wear it. It's a post-colonial security thing. If you show up in camo shorts or a camo hat, you risk having it confiscated or even getting a fine. Just leave it all at home.
And let's finish this section with the most critical health hazard from nature. The sun. It is violent. The UV index hits 11 or 12 by 10 in the morning.
If you're fair-skinned, you will burn in 15 minutes without serious sunscreen. Reapply constantly, especially after swimming.
And finally, the most notorious natural danger on the island, which is genuinely terrifying, the manchineel tree. These trees are often near beaches. They have these little green fruits that look like tempting little apples.
Do not touch the trees. Do not eat the fruit. It is extremely poisonous. And the most dangerous part, do not stand under them when it rains. The caustic sap drips down and will cause severe chemical burns and blistering on your skin. They are usually marked with a red paint ring on the trunk. If you see a tree with a red ring, you treat it like an electric fence. Stay far away. Okay, we've navigated the traps, we've handled the spreadsheets, and we've avoided the toxic trees. Let's move to the emotional payoff. What were the moments that truly defined the experience for you?
My absolute best moment, the one that really got to the heart of the island, wasn't at a fancy resort. It was Friday night at the Oyston's Fish Fry.
Describe the sensory reality of that, because it's just overload.
It is organized chaos. The energy is explosive. You have loud reggae and soca music, smoke from dozens of grills filling the air. It's this amazing mix of locals and tourists all just blending together. I was sitting at a cheap plastic picnic table, shared a bottle of rum with a Bajan family celebrating a birthday, and just laughed for an hour.
That's the community we were talking about.
It's the ultimate expression of it. That single experience, which cost maybe $30, was worth more than any $1,000 hotel view.
My best moment was the one time I felt the high price tag was justified purely by nature and smart planning. It involved renting a small, fast boat, not a big catamaran, and going to swim with the turtles at 7:30 in the morning.
Before all the big party boats arrive.
Exactly. We had the water to ourselves. It was silent, glassy, crystal clear. Just me, the captain, and 3 huge hawksbill turtles grazing below. That sense of quiet, personal communion with nature. That was the luxury. The silence and the connection.
But we have to have balance. What were the big disappointments?
For me, it was St. Lawrence Gap. Every guidebook bills it as the nightlife capital of the island.
And their reality.
It just felt tacky. A street full of bars with bad cover bands, overpriced shots, and aggressive people trying to pull you into their restaurants. It felt like a bad version of Cancun, completely lacking any real Bajan charm.
That manufactured tourist stuff rarely delivers. My disappointment was purely financial. It was that $600 dinner at a very famous cliffside West Coast spot.
The classic price-to-performance mismatch.
Precisely. Now, the view was spectacular. That was worth $100 maybe. But the food was just fine. It was beautifully plated wedding banquet food. Technically perfect, but completely forgettable.
You left full but not moved.
I left annoyed that I'd paid $600 for a memorable piece of real estate, but a forgettable piece of fish. It proved our central point. The price is often for the view, not the flavor.
So we've covered the highs and lows, but what if, after hearing all this, someone decides Barbados is too expensive or too developed? What are the real alternatives?
We have two excellent options depending on what you want to prioritize. First up, Grenada. People often say Grenada is what Barbados was 30 years ago. It's quieter, lusher, more mountainous. It's the Spice Isle. You can smell nutmeg and cinnamon in the air. And crucially, accommodation is about 30% cheaper for similar quality. The trade-off is the beaches aren't quite as perfectly white or calm as the Platinum Coast.
Okay, and option two?
St. Lucia. This is for you if you are chasing pure visual drama. Barbados is mostly flat coral. St. Lucia has the piétons, those incredible volcanic peaks plunging into the sea. It's visually stunning.
But the trade-off there?
The beaches have darker volcanic sand, and the roads are notoriously winding and slow. You sacrifice ease of travel and world-class dining for sheer scenic beauty.
For the traveler who wants the best of both worlds, the polish and the isolation, we suggest the ultimate combo itinerary.
This is the pro move. You fly into Barbados first, because it has the best airlift in the region. Spend 3 or 4 days doing the fine dining, the shopping, enjoying the stability of the Platinum Coast.
Get your fill of the polish.
Then, you take a small prop plane, like SVG Air, down to the Grenadines. Head to a tiny island like Bakuia or Kinouan for the second half of the trip. That's where you find true desert island isolation and pristine marine environments. You get the glitz of Barbados, followed by the quiet of the Grenadines. It's the highest expression of luxury travel in the region.
All right, we've reached the final matrix. Let's deliver the tailored advice. Is Barbados worth the premium?
My verdict is yes, unequivocally, but only if you use the hacks and avoid the traps. The luxury you're buying is the atmosphere of comfort, safety, and ease of travel.
I agree. It's the ability to completely relax in a stable, civilized environment. Okay, scenario one, the backpacker.
Verdict, skip it. It's just too hard to keep costs down without missing everything that makes Barbados special. There are far better value destinations for a true backpacker.
Scenario two, the mid-range couple.
Verdict, winner. This is the absolute sweet spot for value. Rent a condo on the South Coast in Rockley or Accra. You get great beaches, the boardwalk, local restaurants, all without the sandy lane prices.
Scenario three, the family trip.
Verdict, highly recommended. The West Coast water is super calm and safe for toddlers. Supermarkets stock familiar brands for picky eaters, and it's easy to hire a vetted professional nanny.
And finally, scenario four, the luxury traveler, spending 10 grand plus.
Verdict, worth it, but you have to be smart. Do not stay in a hotel room, that's the trap. Rent a luxury villa on the Sandy Lane Estate or Royal Westmoreland with a private chef. That delivers a world-class bespoke experience that justifies the premium.
And the best time to go for value and weather?
May or November. The shoulder season. Prices are lower, the island is green, and it's not too crowded. Just avoid September. That's peak hurricane risk and humidity.
That's our complete dispatch. Barbados is expensive, delicious, polite, and polished, but only if you plan intelligently.
Go for the sunset, avoid the manchineel tree, and stay for the rum punch. Safe travels.
And here's a final thought for you to consider as you book your trip. We've talked a lot about avoiding the hotel stupid tax, but the real luxury you're buying in Barbados isn't the thread count or the ocean view.
It's the atmosphere. It's the confidence of total safety, the ease of movement, and the ability to connect with the island's community soul through local food and smart rentals. By being smart with your budget, you don't just save money, you gain access to the island's best experiences, making the premium truly worth paying.